Welcome to Family Justice Files. My sister slapped me at her wedding. 200 guests saw it, and a lot of them laughed. It happened because I wouldn't give her my penthouse. Not a loan, not help. My home. The one I paid for, the one I built in my own name. Not theirs to reassign. I'm Vivien. I'm 32. I built my life the hard way, and my family hates that part. That night, my parents cornered me in a luxury ballroom. My mother, Diane, smiled like a blade. My father, Robert, called me selfish. My sister, Sabrina, stood in white and said, "You don't deserve it." When I said no, Sabrina hit me like it was a punchline. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I looked past the crowd and noticed someone watching closely. Judge Margaret Chen, and that was the moment I knew. They'd made a mistake they couldn't undo. I wasn't always the successful one in my family. In our house, success only counted if it served Sabrina. Sabrina was the golden child, the one my parents protected without thinking, the one they called bold when she made reckless choices, the one they called free-spirited when she bounced from one plan to the next. I was the one who got lectures. If I studied too much, I was antisocial. If I worked too hard, I was trying to prove something. If I set boundaries, I was difficult. And the more I achieved, the more they acted like it wasn't real. I didn't come from family money. I didn't get a head start. I worked through law school, multiple jobs, no safety net, no, just call us if you need help. When I opened my own firm, it was terrifying. Long nights, 70-hour weeks, clients who wanted miracles, bills that didn't care how exhausted I was. I made it anyway, not because I was lucky, because I was stubborn. Last year, I closed a major case that changed my life. That's how I bought the Penthouse, a place I paid for, a place I earned, a place that finally felt like proof that I wasn't the family problem. But the moment my family found out, the tone shifted. My mother started calling me darling again. My father started acting interested in my future. Sabrina started smiling at me like we were suddenly close. It wasn't love, it was a scent. They could smell something they wanted, and I knew the pattern well enough to feel it coming. In the Morrison family, my role was never daughter. It was resource, the one who helps, the one who sacrifices, the one who stays polite while everyone else takes. Sabrina didn't want my home because she needed it. She wanted it because I had it. Because in her mind, anything that made me look powerful made her feel smaller. And my parents? They couldn't stand the idea that I had built something they didn't control. So when Sabrina's wedding invitation arrived, I already had a knot in my stomach. A lavish venue, a wealthy groom, 200 guests. It wasn't just a celebration, it was a stage, and my family had never missed a chance to put me in my place when an audience was watching. I'd seen it before, at birthdays, at holidays, at any dinner where I dared to sound proud. A quick joke about my big ego, a comment about how I don't understand real family, a smile that said, "Be grateful, we even invited you." So I walked into that ballroom already braced for impact, because in my family, my success isn't something they celebrate. It's something they try to redistribute. The ballroom looked like a magazine spread, crystal light, white flowers, a string quartet playing like nothing in the world could go wrong. Sabrina floated from table to table in her wedding dress, collecting compliments like tips. Derek stayed close, smiling the careful smile of a man who still thought he'd married into something normal. I took my seat near the edge of the room on purpose. In my family, staying quiet was survival. If you don't speak, you can't be accused of saying the wrong thing. I watched my sister accept gifts and praise like they were owed. I watched my parents glow with pride like they were the ones getting married. And then my mother appeared beside me. "Vivien, darling," she said, sweet as syrup. That word, darling, always meant she wanted something. My father stepped in too, Robert in a tux, face tight, eyes already disappointed. "We need a family chat," my mother said. My stomach sank. "Mom," I said, keeping my voice low, "it's Sabrina's wedding." "That's why we're doing this now," Dad replied. "Everyone's here. It's a good time." My mother's smile didn't move. "We've been discussing your living situation," she said. "My living situation?" I repeated. Dad nodded like he was solving a math problem. "You're a single woman," he said. "You don't need all that space." I stared at him. "Sabrina and Derek are starting their family," Mom added quickly. "They need a real home." Sabrina arrived on cue, like she'd been waiting just out of frame. She slid into the circle with her new husband's arm around her waist. Her face was bright, but her eyes were sharp. "We're going to start trying right away," she announced. "Congratulations," I said carefully. "I'm sure you'll find a great place." Sabrina smiled wider. "We already have," she said. Then she looked right at me. "We want your penthouse." For a second, I thought I'd misheard. "Excuse me?" I asked. Dad jumped in with that patronizing calm he used when he wanted to sound reasonable. "Think logically," he said. "You don't need it. They do." My mother nodded like this was obvious. "It's for the children," she said. "Real homes matter." "Your children aren't even conceived," I said. Sabrina's smile tightened. "Don't be dramatic," she snapped. "You can take Derek's place. It's perfectly fine for one person." I blinked. "You want me to trade my penthouse for his apartment?" "Stop acting like you're above us," Sabrina said. "It's not like you even use all those bedrooms." Then she leaned in just enough to make sure it landed. "You don't even have a boyfriend." I felt the sting, but I didn't show it. "I need this space because it's my home," I said. "I earned it. I paid for it. I'm not giving it up." The sweetness fell off my mother's voice. "That is incredibly selfish," she said. "Family comes first." I almost laughed. "Family?" I said quietly. "When have any of you treated me like family?" My father's jaw tightened. "Don't do this here," he warned. But Sabrina did. She stepped closer, eyes bright with anger. "You've always been jealous of me," she said. "You can't stand that I'm getting married, that I'm giving them grandkids, that I'm getting the life you'll never have." I looked at her and felt something sad settle in. "I'm not jealous," I said. "I'm disappointed." Sabrina's face flushed. "Disappointed?" she echoed, like the word offended her. "I'm the one who makes them proud. I'm finally getting what I deserve." "What exactly do you deserve?" I asked. She didn't hesitate. "Everything," she said. "The penthouse, the respect, the life." My parents stood behind her, silent but steady, backing her without words. I scanned the room. People were starting to notice, heads turning, conversations fading. The circle around us widened. And that's when my father raised his voice, just enough for strangers to hear. "Your sister's children need real homes," he said. "Not some cramped place." Sabrina lifted her chin. "Selfish children don't deserve success," my mother added. The words landed like a stamp. I felt the heat rise in my throat, but I kept my voice level. "No," I said. "One word, clear, final." Sabrina's eyes narrowed, and in that moment I could feel it, about reminding me that no matter what I built, they still believed they owned it, and they were about to prove it, in front of everyone. The slap came so fast I didn't even flinch until after it landed. Sabrina's hand cracked across my cheek, sharp and loud like a cue in a play. For half a second the room froze. 200 guests, crystal lights, white flowers, and me, standing there with my face burning. Then the laughter started. At first it was a few quick giggles from Sabrina's friends, the kind of laughter that says, "Finally." Then it spread. People who didn't know me laughed too, not because it was funny, because it was easy. I heard whispers. "About time. She needed that. She's so stuck up." My cheek throbbed, but I didn't cry. I refused to give them that. Sabrina stood there smiling like she'd won something. "Maybe now you'll act like a real sister," she said. I looked past her. My mother and father were right behind her. Not shocked, not apologizing, not even asking if I was okay. They just watched, waiting. Like the slap was a negotiation tactic, like it was the final pressure point that would make me hand over my home. That's when something inside me went quiet. This wasn't only about the penthouse. This was about keeping me in my place. No matter how much I built, no matter how hard I worked, In their minds, I was still the disappointment, the one who didn't count. But they'd made one mistake. They did it in public. 200 witnesses. And among them were people who knew me professionally. People who had seen me argue cases, close deals, handle pressure. I reached into my bag and pulled out my phone. My hands were steady, even though my whole body felt hot. My mother's voice turned nervous. "Vivien, what are you doing?" I didn't answer. I just started typing. Sabrina's smile faltered. My father leaned in, low and sharp. "Put that away," he hissed. "You're embarrassing yourself." I kept typing. The laughter around us started thinning. Not because anyone suddenly grew a conscience, but because they could tell I wasn't reacting the way a good victim was supposed to. Sabrina stepped closer. "Give me that," she snapped, reaching for my phone. I shifted one step to the side, calm, controlled, and hit send right as her fingers grazed the screen. Her eyes widened. "What did you do?" she whispered. I looked at her, then at my parents, then at the ring of guests still watching. "I told the truth," I said. They stared at me like I'd spoken another language. My phone buzzed once, then again, then again. My mother's face tightened. "What did you send?" she demanded. I lifted my gaze. "A message to people who actually know me," I said. "My colleagues, my contacts, people who don't confuse family with entitlement." My father's voice dropped. "Delete it." I blinked slowly. "No," I said. Sabrina's breath started coming fast. "You can't do this to me," she hissed. "I didn't do this," I replied, quiet but clear. "You did. In front of everyone." My phone buzzed again and I glanced down. A short message at the top of my screen. Judge Margaret Chen. Not dramatic, not emotional. Just a few words that told me she'd seen everything. And she was disgusted. I looked back up, meeting Sabrina's eyes. "You wanted a public moment," I said. "Now you have one." The room had gone almost silent again, because they finally realized what I realized. This wasn't going to end with me folding. This was going to end with consequences. The room didn't explode the way Sabrina expected. It didn't turn into applause for her. It didn't turn into me begging. It turned into discomfort. People stopped laughing. Faces shifted. Some guests looked away like they'd suddenly remembered they had somewhere else to be. Sabrina's smile started to crack. My mother grabbed my wrist, not hard, but possessive. "Vivien," she hissed, "fix this, right now." I gently pulled my arm back. "I'm not the one who broke it," I said. My father stepped in, voice tight, trying to regain control. "You're taking this too far," he said. It was a moment, a slap. "Don't ruin your sister's wedding over drama." I held his gaze. "It wasn't a moment," I said. "It was a decision." Sabrina's eyes flashed. "You're doing this to punish me," she spat. "You've always wanted to embarrass me." I shook my head once. "No," I said. "I'm refusing to be embarrassed for you." My mother's voice rose. "You're selfish," she said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "You've always been selfish." I almost laughed at the consistency. "Then stop asking me for my home," I replied. Sabrina stepped closer, voice low, mean. "Delete it," she demanded. "Tell them you exaggerated. Tell them you were emotional. Fix it." There it was again. Not accountability, editing. My father nodded like that was reasonable. "You can smooth this over," he said. "Just say it was a misunderstanding. Say you didn't mean it." I looked at all three of them and realized something simple. They didn't want me safe, they wanted me quiet. They didn't care that I'd been hit. They cared that witnesses existed. I kept my voice calm because calm was power in that moment. "No," I said. My mother's face tightened. "What did you just say?" "I said no," I repeated. "I'm not deleting anything, I'm not rewriting anything, and I'm not giving Sabrina my penthouse." Sabrina's voice shook. "You're ruining my life." I blinked slowly. "You tried to take mine," I said, "piece by piece, and tonight you did it in public." My father lowered his voice, like a threat disguised as concern. "You're going to regret this," he said. "You're going to lose your family." That line used to scare me. Tonight it landed differently. "I don't have a family," I said quietly. "I have people who only recognize me when they want something." My mother's eyes went wet, but her tone stayed sharp. "You're heartless." I shook my head. "I'm done," I said. Done being your resource. Done being your sacrifice. Done being your punching bag. I took one step back, creating space. Keep the wedding, I added. Keep the pictures. Keep the speeches. Then I looked at Sabrina. But you don't get my home, and you don't get access to me anymore. I didn't stay to watch the rest of the wedding. I didn't need to. I left that ballroom with my cheek still burning and my spine straighter than it had been in years. Outside, the air felt colder, cleaner. My phone kept vibrating, but I didn't chase the noise. Because for once, I wasn't trying to convince anyone. I already knew what happened. My sister hit me in public. My parents stood behind her, and then they demanded I clean it up. That was the whole family dynamic in one scene. Not love, not support, control. In the days that followed, messages came in from people who had been there. Some were kind, some were ashamed. Some just wanted to distance themselves from the mess. Sabrina tried to reach me too, not to ask if I was okay, not to take responsibility, to negotiate, to fix it, to make it disappear, to get her access back. And I didn't give it to her. I didn't post threats. I didn't take victory laps. I did something quieter. I changed my locks. I tightened my privacy. I stopped responding. I removed the places where my family could reach into my life and treat my work like shared property. And the strangest part? The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was peaceful. Because I finally understood the truth I'd avoided for years. If someone only calls you family when you're useful, they don't want you. They want what you have. My penthouse was never the real issue. The real issue was that I had built a life without their approval, and they wanted to prove they could still take it. They couldn't. Not anymore. Boundaries aren't cruelty. They're clarity. And accountability isn't revenge. It's the moment you stop protecting people from the consequences of their choices. That's what I chose. Not because I hated them. Because I finally respected myself. Peace isn't silence. It's distance from people who harm you. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more stories.